back to Winning Isn't Easy. So let's talk about living with spasmodic dysphonia and cervical dystonia. What happened to you on July 19, 2017? Uh, how did this diagnosis unfold?
Yeah. Again, because of it, there's about 60,000 people in the United States that have spasmodic dysphonia. And there is no known reason or cause of SD. And there's no real treatment for SD. Botox helps, but it doesn't treat it. For me, I was a team manager at State Farm Insurance, and I was under a lot of stress and pressure and that sort of thing that is pretty common in a corporate world. I was actually getting ready for vacation. It was my dad's birthday, so they were flying into Atlanta, where I lived then. My wife and I went down, picked him up at the airport, came home, kind of felt a little on the weird side, I guess. Had been kind of feeling not sick, but kind of sick. That next morning, I woke up and I didn't have a voice. It sounded funny, just kind of had a scratchy, like I had never felt before. I also, hindsight is always 20/20, and I can think back, and I had to clear my throat a lot, and just kind of that, clearing and kind of a dry throat, if you will. And I used to be a runner, so I would drink a lot of water. So that wasn't, dehydration and that sort of thing wasn't a big deal. But we took off to North Carolina to see my another sister and met my other sister there, and decided that I needed to go to an urgent care because I was still feeling pretty cruddy and my throat was not better and my voice wasn't better. So went there and they said, "Oh, you have a strep throat."
Yeah.
Okay. So got on some antibiotics, did the vacation thing, came back home. I went back to work a couple of days and they're like, you don't sound right. You need to go home. So went home, went to an ENT, just a normal ENT. They diagnosed with fungal laryngitis, which I had never even heard of that or either. And they sent me gave me more drugs. And they also said, you have some muscle tension dysphonia. I was like, I don't know what that is either. Sent me to speech therapy. So continued to do speech therapy. And I just happened to have an amazing speech therapist who said, your voice just doesn't sound like just muscle tension dysphonia. And she actually helped me go to my first laryngologist in Atlanta. So I went there, and at that point, I had gotten on short-term disability at work. I was on about a month of voice rest, which was a whole weird. So I went to the first laryngologist, and they do a scope where they put a flashlight basically down your neck or through your nose and look at your vocal cords. And he thought he saw spasmodic dysphonia. So he sent me to Vanderbilt.
Okay.
And I went to Vanderbilt and saw Dr. Garrett, who's one of the best in the country. and went through some more testing and more scopes and more speech therapy. And she is the one who diagnosed with abductor spasmodic dysphonia as well as abductor spasmodic dysphonia. So I am a rare, yes, exactly, a rare bird for sure. I have mixed. So there's basically three different kinds. I have all three. That's why sometimes you hear a very, very like tomorrow,
Right.
or you hear squeezed. And that's both going on at the same time.
Wow.
So after Vanderbilt, since that was about a 5-hour commute, I ended up going to Emory
Right.
Center, which is another amazing place. Clinic. Went through many different types of injections and scopes and treatment, and it just never worked. So July 19th, 2017 to today, I've had one day where I had a somewhat normal voice.
Wow. And I know you talked about trying different types of treatment, Botox, fillers. Nothing was really successful. So, was there anything or things that, or people that helped you stay grounded when that treatment didn't work and you've only had that sort of one day?
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah. I have an amazing wife who has stayed by my side. Um, Again, if I have a doctor's appointment, I can't. It's difficult to make those phone calls. So having her help me, my faith has grown immensely, and just the community of the Dysphonia International has been so supportive. And I'm also, so not only do I have a weird voice, I also have a spinal fusion. So I went through 2 spinal fusion surgeries, and I'm a breast cancer survivor. So I've gone through the gamut, and ironically, dealing with my voice has helped me to um, be more resilient than I ever thought I could be, and has helped prepare me to deal with my future.
well,
So,
this has been also a mental health journey for you, right?
oh, but incredible. I heard a podcast earlier in the week that talked about your identity death. And and at first I was kind of put off by that. And it's very true. I was a trainer, I was a speaker, I did workshops, I presented and taught all the time. And so that on July 19th stopped. So it was a matter of who am I? What am I? What is my purpose? So I went to counseling and went through grief therapy because a part of you does die.
Die. Right.
Yes. And it goes in stages so that learning that coping mechanism has been critical. And, you know, a voice as life altering, breast cancer is life threatening. They're both very difficult to manage, but I think that's kind of helped me keep it in perspective that it's just a real pain in the keister. Oh,
Well, I know that you said I'm not going to let my voice define me. How have you stayed, or how have you created? Well, I'm a lawyer and I shouldn't assume facts, not in evidence. Um, but you have probably created a new identity for yourself, drawing from your strengths and skills that you had.
yeah.
How have you stayed connected to who you were, if you still are,
Mhm.
to who you are now beyond the diagnosis?
Right. It's a great thought-provoking question. And I guess it's just kind of who I am as a person. Um, I really don't see another option. And
But I'm going to stop you there because, you come from an educational background as a trainer, and you're dealing now one-on-one with people who have just been diagnosed or on that journey. So you are, in many respects, taking the skills in the person that you were and applying it now, not only to you, but more importantly, to be of service of others.
exactly. So I've just kind of redefined, if you will, my skill set. As a matter of fact, at the symposium we're talking about, I did a section on emotional intelligence. So I
Okay.
was able to do my training love again.
Right.
So, it's just kind of figuring it out. Hey, and, in a room full of people who can't talk, they totally understand
Yeah.
when I have a break. I also, I found a horse rescue that really gave me that sense of giving back and helping. Um, so, you think, whether it's your faith, whatever, if you fully believe in that, you'll be able to keep going. And that's just kind of been my motto: is it's not going to stop me from thriving.
Well, thank you for sharing that amazing insight. Let's take a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about the not so wonderful world of disability.